First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while unto truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type D lesson is Haitians get temporary reprieve from judge. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a quick news article here by NBC News. Federal judge blocks Trump administration from ending temporary legal status from many Haitians. Last week, DHS announced it was terminating their legal protections as soon as September the 2nd, setting more than 500,000 Haitians up for potential deportation. So we already know that this already had started with what the northern tribe, we're constantly seeing how this devil is constantly putting things into play, constantly what? Targeting the people of color. And how about you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Indians. This devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. And while you are getting ready for the holiday, barbecue, drinking and being merry, this devil is getting ready to come down with his military, come down with his technology. Also, his ultimate goal is that grain of rice to put in your forehead or into your right hand. That's where we at right now. A lot of people right now, are still in gaga la la land, thinking that this is not going to happen. This man is constantly putting these things into place. So right here, this man right here was getting ready to take the legal status from many Haitians, which in fact your citizenship, so he can pretty much just come in and grab you and just take you away, wish you away to back to your country or anywhere he want, wherever you please. We already knowing about this alligator Alcatraz. We already knowing about Guantanamo Bay and many others. They already constantly putting these things into place. So we already knowing right now. DJ Donald Trump is trying to make America great again, but America has never ever been great for what? The so-called people of color. And also, you already knowing what they're constantly saying. They've been saying this, pretty much forever. We all look the same. So we're next. Who is next? Talking about with the southern tribe. Started with the northern tribe. Now we already know the Haitians, through the spirit, we know that is the tribe of Levi, the 12 tribe, so this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath, and we constantly warn you left and right. So federal judge blocks, so they go back and forth, but we already knowing that they're all a part of the same eagle, either, a Democrat or a Republican, but they all have the same agenda, total control. Also, they get ready to come up against Israel, the 12 tribe, once again, the Negroes, the Latinos, the Mexicans, the Native Indians. I'm talking to you. And this right here is all about, who's not supposed to be here, which in fact we already know the so-called white man, he don't even belong here. This man has stole everything and everybody. And one thing about he's the thief. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to shed light on this red devil. That's why he knowing that his time is very short. Let's get a little bit more of this here. It says here, it's a federal judge in New York on Tuesday blocked the Trump administration from ending temporary legal status for more than 500,000, or 500,000 Haitians who are already in the United States. So right now, we already knowing that it was already rumors. I think it was back in 2021 that they were fighting these ICE patrol, and we already know how the history of these so-called Haitian, which in fact the tribe of Levi. We know what happened back in the 1800s when it was a revolution, a rebellion over there in those islands, which I think is Haiti is on one side and the Dominican Republic is on the other side. But, when you look up the history of what happened back in during the slave, the Atlantic Atlantic slave trade. When you get around to look it up, so these people have a history, of bucking up, fighting, so we already know. And also, they are into this black magic, this voodoo. So a lot of these different things right here, we already knowing that. And also they are part of what? Of the southern tribe, which in fact consists of Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. So we already know right now who shall rise him up. And one thing about it, we already knowing that Judah is going to get it popping. We knowing that it was right, just like the Bible says. So we read upon what? Jacob's trouble. So we are very close to this time. This devil's getting ready to roll on us. But a lot of our people are still going on with their daily life, still, getting ready for these barbecue, these cookout, family reunion, constantly getting rocked back to sleep. But one thing about it, you getting ready, you getting ready to F around and find also you in for a rude awakening. So let's read this once again. It says a federal judge in New York on Tuesday blocked the Trump administration from ending temporary legal status for more than 500,000 Haitians who are already in the U.S. So if this would have happened, we already know that it had been Jacob's trouble, right? It's coming either way it go. We already know that they're gonna buck up behind this because they're not going back to their third world country. They already know that there's nothing there. They're gonna stay right here. So we already know this is gonna cause civil unrest, civil war, a time of trouble that we've never seen before. It said a district court judge, Brian M. Cogan in New York, ruled that moving up the expiration of the temporary protected status, or TPS, said by at least 5 months for Haitians, said some of whom have lived in the U.S. for more than a decade, said is unlawful. So right here, we already know that all they're doing is constantly pushing it back. But this man is getting ready to roll this out. And also, when you get around to look up the big, beautiful bill, the big, ugly, effed up bill. Look, this is targeting people of color. So we already seeing what's going on right there in L.A. They already called the Marines, and also they had the National Guard. So we constantly, slowly seeing that America is slowly becoming a police state. It's going to be military run. And also we already knowing that cruel law and this dictator, which in fact is DJ Donald Trump. We already know and seeing exactly what he's constantly trying to accomplish. Trying to make America great again. This place has never been great. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. So we see it right here that this will cause a lot of mayhem, a lot of destruction, death and destruction. We know that it's coming. So this has been put off for about 5 months, but we already know that he's going to do it before then. This is going to come back up again. So we already know they're going to grab up any so-called people of color up. They shall be like a madman sparing none. We already know that they have a lot of things in place. These sleeper cells, these ICE patrol, these hate groups, a lot of things that we're looking at. We see in a full circle right now. And one thing about it, we knowing that anyone that is a so-called Israelite, you're going to, don't have anything to do with skin color. Your spirit bear witness who we are. But one thing about it, that's what this red devil is going to base everything on. So we already know that, this is the tribe of Judah. When you go to Genesis chapter 49, they're going to get it popping. So we know that we're very close. So now let's get today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified. I got 2 quick, fast videos.
And this ain't on no bullshit, y'all. I had to leave out the gym in the middle of my motherfucking workout because God put this in my spirit. Black people, I need y'all to listen to me, and I need you to listen to me clearly. Trump just removed visa status for over 500,000 Haitians. Now, hear me out. I know we've been saying this ain't my fight. We sitting back. We not doing anything. We chilling out. We can't sit this out. We have to stand with them. We have to fight for them. I'm going to tell you why. This right here, up until this point, Trump has been testing out a lot of shit. He's been testing out The whole bombing with the Iran situation, that's the wartime powers right there. He's been testing out getting rid of affirmative action. He's been testing out deporting black and brown people. He started with Hispanics, okay? Now, we may think like, okay, this is the Haitian community. Of course he's going to get rid of the Haitians. You know, they are black. They are us. And oftentimes, a lot of times, these ICE people, they can't decipher who's Haitian, who's not. What happens when they just label one of us Haitian? It's easy to do. We look Haitian. This is a test. If Trump can get away with the removal of our black brothers and sisters, Haitian or otherwise, African or whatever, and we do not stand up, what's going to happen when he says, let's get rid of the niggas too?
So, and this video right here came out before they blocked it. So this video came out, I think, a couple of days before this came out, but I brought it out for edification purpose because they only put it back for 5 months. So we already know that they are going to come down. You know what I'm saying? The devil is going to come down with great wrath. So this is eventually is going to happen. But this video came out before they blocked it, but I brought it out for edification purpose. But you know what I'm saying? So we're seeing that this constantly doing these test runs, it constantly coming up against the people of color. You know what I'm saying? You know, the northern tribe, the southern tribe. So we're seeing it now, it's coming full circle. It's going to be what we call what? Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. We're very close. Let's get this last little couple of second video right here. It's pretty much talking about the same thing. Let's go right here.
Black people are next is their way to pull out our emotions for deporting our Haitian brother and sisters. And they're saying, how can they tell the difference between a Haitian versus a Black American? This is the time. This is right now why.
See, that's all I want to get out of that, you know, because it's talking about pretty much the same thing. And also this video came out before, you know, they blocked it because they were getting a lot of backlash for right then. But we already know we're not ignorant of Satan's device. We know that this man is going to put this forth. He already putting all these different unrighteous decrees into place left and right. So we know that these things are coming upon us at a fast pace. So let's get this right quick. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12 says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knowing that he has but a short time. So he knowing that his time is very short. You know, seeing that the signs of the times are all around him. And one thing the Lord is constantly making Esau barren and barren. Also, he's making his tongue fall upon his own self. So the Lord is going to turn all what he meant for bad for us is going to be bad for him. You know, so we already know when Judah rise up, it's going to get popping. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we already know that the body count will be great. So this devil, which in fact is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, he's getting ready to put these draconian laws into play. You know, and one thing about it, we know that we're here. They constantly left and right, constantly this deportation. You know, this is, you know, it's been in the news quite some time. Also, we know about this, about what's going on in the Middle East. So many things that's going on. That's why we got to be watching, praying, and being sober, because one thing about it, you know, these things can just pop off at any given time. So now, let's go here to Psalm, just a quick lesson through the Spirit. Let's go here to Psalm chapter 44, Psalm chapter 44 and verse 11. You know, just let's get a little of this in, and we'll probably get one more, we'll close out. Something I'm just constantly seeing through the Spirit, you know. Lord has set up watchmen, so like it. It's 44. Psalm chapter 44. I hit the wrong thing. 44 and verse 11. I did it backwards. Let's go here. Psalm chapter, let's get it right here. Psalm chapter 44 and verse 11. And it says, thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, and has scattered us among the heathen. So that's right now to this day, we're scattered among the heathens, among the enemy. You know what I'm saying? You know, we already know who was our enemy, starting with what Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. You know, like a sheep to the slaughter. For right now, we're among these damn heathens right now. We already know that they're getting ready to strike. It says here in verse Psalm chapter 44 and verse 11, it says, you have butchered us like sheep, and scatter us among the nations, not about who scattered us among the nations. That was what? Yahweh Ba'ashim Awashai. But the Lord is getting ready to what? To revive us. The Lord is getting ready to come to deliver us with great glory and great power. But one thing about the 2/3, they're going to be what? Sheep to the slaughter. Because what? When the Lord called, they did not answer. Verse 12, it says, Thou sellest thy people for nah, and doest not increase thy wealth by their price. Verse 13 says, Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbor, so a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. So that's exactly right now. We call all kind of bywords, mocking and scoffing right now. Right now, they have the upper hand, but only for a short season right now. So we already know right now this red devil is getting ready to come in like a flood, So it says here, verse 14, this is the point right here. I should have went straight to the point, but I'm just reading down. This is the point where I want to make right here. It says, Thou makest us a byword among the heathens, a shaking of the head among the peoples. And one thing about it, they make a complete mockery of it. It's calling us what? Nigger, spick, coon, undesirables, they're calling us, everything but the right thing, so we right here, that's exactly what they're doing. They making, scoffing and mocking us right now. But one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to exalt us, in that day, they shall know that we are the sons of the living power, Yasharala, Prince of the power. So right now they're making a mockery of it. They getting ready to come in and try to attempt to slaughter the children of Israel. We already knowing that this devil is getting ready to come forward with war, because that is his blessing. You know what I'm saying? That's why we asking the Lord to disappoint him, cast him down. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 12. Something else I want to get out of there. We already knowing that he's getting ready to bring it forth. So right now they're scoffing and mocking us right now. They got us in derision. We're going to get rid of these undesirable, these useless eaters. But one thing about it, he is the useless eater. He's the undesirable. The Lord is getting ready to get rid of him. We cannot wait. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17. Let's get this right quick. I just thought about this. This one I want to bring this point out too. It goes right. It goes good with Revelation 12 and 12 also. Let's get this one here. Let's drop down a little bit. Verse 17. It said, Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17. He said, And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, said, which keep the commandments of the Almighty, and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. And out about, we already know who that dragon is, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, you know what I'm saying? And out about it was wroth with the woman. That woman represents who? Israel, you know what I'm saying? Out about it, and the remnant of her seed is talking about the elect, the one that would keep the commandments of the Almighty in the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. And one thing about it, that's where we at right now. So, this man is getting ready to come down with great wrath. This man is getting ready to bring forth war like we have never seen before. But the Lord is in perfect control. So right now, we know that right now, he's getting ready to use that sword, his military, his technology. Also, we know that he's coming with that grain of rice. So right now, let's read this once again. It says here in the NLT, Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17 said, And the dragon was angry at the woman and declared war against the rest of her children, all who keeps the Almighty commandments and maintain their testimony for Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we already know who this is. This is the elect. So we already know that Jacob trouble is getting ready to get it popping, man. We know that we're here. Let's get that right quick. Let's go here. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. So this is even the time of what? Of Jacob's trouble. But who shall be saved out of? The elect, the remnant of her seed. You know what I'm saying? The house of David, the true believers of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Let's go straight to the point. Verse 7, it said, At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. Said, It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who shall be saved out of the what? The remnant. We already know that it's, it's a 2/3 and it's a 1/3. We already know that the 2/3 is going to be cut off on this side. The 1/3, which in fact, the one that will be saved out of it. You know what I'm saying? The one that's constantly keeping the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's what we're waiting for. We're longing for our Lord and Savior and our great deliverer to come to deliver us out of this nightmare. So we already know that this man is getting ready to come with everything. He getting ready to hit us with everything. But guess what? The Lord is getting ready to hit him with everything. You know what I'm saying? He's in for a rude awakening. The Lord is getting ready to cut this man off. This man is getting ready to go into slavery for 1,000 years. And after 1,000 years, he will be totally eradicated. All we must do is constantly trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. The Lord is going to do the rest, man. That's why the Lord said, wait on me until I rise up against the prey. So right now, we're seeing that Esau Edom is going over there and, messing with these Haitians, which in fact is the tribe of Levi. We already know the history of them. When you go back to the 1800s, they fought the hell out of Esau Edom, and they triumphed over them. So you had to go into that history. That's a whole nother story. We're gonna go straight to the point, and we're gonna go straight to the point. Let's see what I can get here. Let's go down here to verse. What verse I want to start? We're gonna go straight to the point. Verse 8. Let's start up here at verse 8. So Judah is the head tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel. And one thing about it is, the Negroes, when Judah get involved, all the other tribes are going to rise up against this red devil. And one thing about it, he going to be in for a rude awakening. He getting ready to F around and find out. He's messing with them Haitians. We get ready to get it popping. Genesis chapter 49 and verse 8, it said, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. It said, thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. And out about, it says, thy brethren shall praise thee. He's talking about what his brethren, what these other tribes. We are the head tribe. It sees it right there. It said, thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So that's exactly what is getting ready to happen, man. We get ready to go into rulership, man. The Lord's getting ready to make it plain upon the table very soon who are his chosen. The people who he's dealing with, we coming upon this time, man. We're in some exciting time, and our salvation is at the door. Verse 9 said, Judah is a lion's whelp, said, for from the prey, said, my son, thou art gone up, and said, and he stooped down, and he crouches as a lion, and as a old lion, who shall rouse him up? So one thing about it, they going over there effing around with those Haitians. They gonna get it popping. We already know that the so-called African American, which in fact the so-called black man, gonna join hand in hand. Those are our brethren. The tribe of Levi. Those Haitians over there. Things are getting ready to get very, very exciting. This red devil is getting ready to go down. Verse 10, it said, the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. So that's exactly what we're waiting on. Shiloh, which in fact is Yahushua HaMashiach, our Lord and our Savior and our great deliverer. The Lord's getting ready to return and set everything back into order. That's what we're constantly longing for each and every day. That's why right now, we hasten his great and glorious return. So we're constantly seeing today coming with these mass deportation. They constantly come with these executive orders. They constantly coming up against the people of color. And out about, you have enemies. You know what I'm saying? When you go to Psalm chapter, I think 83, if I'm not mistaken, he give you a list, all our enemies. And one thing about it, we are scattered among the heathens. But the Lord is going to come to deliver us for the four corners of the earth. You know what I'm saying? We're very close to this time, man. We're living in the end time, real time. And this devil is getting ready to roll on us. We got to watch, pray, be sober, redeem the time wisely, because we're here. It is at the door. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Haitians Get Temporary Reprieve from Judge. And out about it, when you go to that word reprieve, it goes into a temporary suspension. So we already know they put it back for 5 months, but we already know what the deal is. We're not ignorant of Satan's device. They'll do that back and forth, order out of chaos. But we already know what their main agenda is, to make us a petrol slave, total control. But one thing about it, he's in for a rude awakening. And once again, the title of today's lesson, once again, is Haitians get temporary reprieve from judge. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.